Hello, and welcome to my first redstone video. I'm going to be showing you some bud switches. If you don't know what a bud switch is, it's basically a block update detector that will trigger when a block is placed or updates around it. This is the first one I ever made. It's a very basic block update detector, and it fits on one block, one tile, like this. So it's not tileable, but it's only on one by one, as you can see. And if you look, I'll demonstrate. If I place a block, it will pulse the piston. If you watch the repeater and the torch up there as well, if you want, you will see that every time it pulses, it will pulse a signal. It's a bit like a switch, but it is triggered by placing a block on the piston. You can place the block on any side of the piston and it will work. It's very useful. It's only on one block wide, so you can squash it into any creation you have it to open a door. So you can have your door there, if it's red with your door, you could just go plop and it would open your door. This second one I have here is my attempt at making the first one tileable, and this one is tileable. You can have as many of these as you want right next to each other and they won't interfere with each other. So you can see it does the same thing. It's a bit slower than the other one because it uses repeaters instead of redstone, but it does the same basic thing. This third one here is a bit different to the other ones. It's still a block update detector, a bud switch, but it has a T flip-flop built in. I created this one because I made it by accident basically, but it's also very useful. It's a very useful creation because most of the time you have one of these bud switches and you want it to open a door, but you want it to be open longer than that pulse. So you can either use this one and extend them repeaters to do that, or you place a T flip-flop behind it so that it triggers the door to open. So that would trigger it, and then removing it would close it. But this has the T flip-flop built in. As you can see, place a block, it goes down, and it stays down, and it will be like that forever until I place another block or remove this one to update it again. So down, remove the block, and it goes up. Very useful, this, for opening doors and all that kind of crazy stuff. And this fourth one, it's basically the same as the first one. It's just I wanted to make it, instead of tall, I wanted to make it flat. Flat instead of tall and flat. I wanted to make it low and flat. And this is as flat as I could get it to be. It's only 2 blocks, but it is wider. The first one is 4 blocks high. This one is 2 blocks high. Well, 3 blocks high if you include the redstone. And it does the same thing, and it's very fast. So they are the basic bud switches. These are basically the only ones you'll ever need. You don't really need anything else. So there they are. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, as I said, they do detect placing blocks, but they also detect block updates. So if I was to get a door, place that next to it, every time I open the door, it will cause an update. And if I place some chicken in there with some wood, it triggers the block update because it's now, I've got particles turned off, but it's giving out particle effects, so it's updating this block, which means that it's causing that to pulse. And when the fire runs out, it will switch back to its original state, which will cause another pulse. So, and of course, removing it does that as well. I've got some cooked chicken, which is always good. They don't want it. Plop. So It's very useful. You can do this. I'm pretty sure it also detects if you sleep in a bed, so you can also use this for adventure maps, for anything basically. It's very useful. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to make the basic bud switch. So first, you're going to need a block. You don't need all the different kind of block, you just need one block, sticky piston, some redstone torch, and a repeater. That's all you need. Okay, so first you will need a piston. It will have to be sticky because it needs to pull the block. Then place a block for it to pull in front of it. Now under the block and one in front, place a redstone torch. And now on top of this, you will need 3 blocks, not on top of the piston. This is going to be the thing that powers the piston, like so. Now this, due to some crazy Minecraft mechanics, this will power the piston, as you can power it on diagonals, but the piston doesn't know it's powered until you update around it, like that. Now, see, there's our basic bud switch, but if you notice, it's not going back in. So we're going to need to do a reset circuit for it, which is extremely simple. You're just going to need a block there with a repeater like that, a block there with a repeater to go into, with a not redstone there, but a redstone on there, and there you go. And that will turn off that and do that. As you can see, it's bugged out a bit there, but now what will happen is that will pulse out, which will send the redstone signal from that redstone torch into the block, into the repeater, into this block, and into this redstone, which will turn off that redstone torch, which will turn off the redstone here, which will take away power to the piston, which means that when we do that, it will then, as you can see on top, it turns off for just a second, which is enough to just bring the piston back in. If you want to have an output for this, which, well, you're probably going to want an output, your output can either be on the back here. You'll have to use a repeater there so it doesn't interfere with that, and then like that, or you can have this on any side of this, like so. And that's your output. You can also output with the redstone torch on top by just placing a block. It'll let me on top and having redstone there. It'll have to be an inverted thing though, but like that. And then on either of these things here you can have a T flip-flop, or if you use one of the previous designs you can have the T flip-flop built in. But this is the basic T flip-flop. Not T flip-flop, bud switch. There you go. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope you've learned something. This is a very, very useful little contraption. It's also what I know to be the most compact bud switch there is, so that's a bonus. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.